All right, how's it going? This is Brian Palma again with another video. Just talk. I'm just going to talk about whether you can either choose between in-person or remote sales, and I'm going to talk about a little bit into my experience with it, uh, door-to-door sales, because that was how I started in the solar industry. But at this moment, like switching a little bit into the online space, trying to get uh, do the marketing for solar companies. So here we go. Why should I listen to you? Why should you listen to me? So honestly, you shouldn't, but just take what I say with like a grain of salt, and just listen a little bit as to my experience with it, the industry, what I saw, and maybe you can learn a little bit as to if you want to get into it. If you're brand new, you can learn a little bit from this presentation. If not, well, that's fine. If you already know about solar sales, in person or remote sales, maybe you don't know about remote sales, so you're gonna learn a little bit about that. But essentially, yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, so what does the solar industry look like? Well, there's two types of ventures. There's mainly commercial, and then there's residential. Now, I'm not going to talk about commercial because I really don't know anything about commercial solar, other than my uncle works for an installer, but in commercial. But that's about it. I don't know anything about commercial. I only know about residential, so I'm just going to talk about what I know, which is it's going to be good because you should only talk about what you've done. So okay, so what does residential solar look like? At the at the beginning, when you're barely starting, you're going to realize that solar is a very sales-driven industry, meaning that you eat what you kill. So that is how you make your money in solar sales. So I've seen people who come into the industry, they have no previous experience, and then on sales, which is, and they just want to give it a shot. The people who just want to give it a shot and don't know anything are the first to give up because door-to-door sales is one of the hardest, most stressful things I've ever experienced in my life. Maybe because I'm just 22, but it is one of the most tiring jobs out there. It is not an easy job because imagine you're 20, you're 20, 21, 22 years old trying to sell the system, maybe $30,000 system, 50, 70,000, $100,000 system. It is not going to be an easy sale. So, and even more so if you're alone. That is how tough this can actually get. So, the people who think they're just going to give it a shot, don't give it a shot. Give it your all because if you're just there to try, just like I'm just going to see if it works. No, it's not going to work. Like you gotta go all in, and even still, you might fail. You probably will fail, but the things that you're gonna learn along the way are what makes it worth it. Uh, there's also people that are just coming into the industry and then all of a sudden they close like super quick. Like I've seen like most of the people that do that is like 30 year olds, like 33 year olds, like 30 and up. Most of these people already have like life experience, and so people trust you more with money when you're like a little bit older. But when you're younger, it's like it seems like people don't want to take that much of a bet, but they want to give you a shot at listening to you. So yeah, if you're young, it's going to be a tough ride. It is going to be a tough ride because you're trying to perform at a high level and you're young, which is one of the hardest things to do out there in the real world. And but I've seen it happen. I've seen I've seen like a 20-year-old. He was 20. I think he was 21 when I met him. He basically started at 18. He didn't sell for like 3 months, 4 months actually, and he barely got the game like as the years progressed. But it was only after like grinding constantly every single I would imagine almost every single day, because that's what I did. And I became a setter, then I became a self gen, and that was like 7 months of just fucking eating garbage. But you learned a lot. So yeah. Uh, yeah, the people quickly realized that it is not as easy as it looks. It is a tough sale, and like I said, I saw a lot of people quitting because it's rough, stressful, filled with anxiety. Because every day is new, and you don't know who you're going to meet or talk to every single day. You never know what the heck is going to happen, which is why you got to be prepared, and you got to know what you're talking about. Because at the end of the day, people fact check you, and they want to see if you know what you're talking about, or if even if you're qualified to talk about what you're talking about. or even if it's true. But yeah, that is mainly true for door-to-door sales because that is how I started. Now, before hopping on the different ventures, like you can get into like when it comes to the solar industry, I'm gonna talk about a little bit as to my story, how I got the knowledge that I have. Then I'll go over like a few different avenues on how you can go about the solar industry. So, like it says right here, just bear with me. So, how did I start? I started back in January 2023. Um, Basically, I wanted to learn how to sell. Uh, why did I learn? Why did I want to learn how to sell? Well, because every great entrepreneur was a great salesperson at the beginning. So, if I wanted to sell, I had to choose an industry. So, what better industry to sell? What better industry to sell in than one of the highest ticket products out there, which is solar right now? And it is a great opportunity right now because uh, there's not a lot of people that have solar, so which is why you can make absurd amounts of money. So I decided to work at a solar company. I did door to door sales for like 7 months. I learned a lot. Like I learned so much. I learned about interest rates. I learned about how to design the system, how to pitch, how to communicate with people effectively so that they listen to you, how to grab people's attention, how to use my body language, like how to earn people's trust, how to like how solar panels work. I learned a lot of things, a lot, which is why I don't regret it. It built me up as a person too, and it really showed me what kind of person I am. Like it showed me what it actually takes to build a business, which is a lot. It's a lot of things that are required in order for you to build a business, and I think sales is one of the best skill sets to get out there because it just teaches you a lot about yourself. Because you're gonna break down, like you're gonna want to give up, and it's stressful, and you don't know what's gonna happen every single day. But that's like every single day in a business, and that's what you need to do. And unfortunately, like a lot of people, I guess, don't really understand that part, which is why they give up and they don't want to give it a shot again. But it is important that if you're trying to start a business, that you understand those things. That it is going to be tough. It is hard. It is not an easy thing to do. Even if you want to build like a marketing agency, that shit is even tough. That's tough too. But it's even tougher to like go knock on freaking doors or install solar panels. That's even harder. So it is going to be tough no matter the business because business is hard. It is supposed to be hard. It is supposed to be the vehicle that builds you up as a person. But yeah, that's a little bit of a rant. So what are the different avenues in solar? There's two at the moment. There's door-to-door sales, and then there's remote sales. So we're specifically talking about how to make those huge commission checks in solar. I've seen as low as $2,000, and I've seen as high as $50,000. Which is why I'm gonna go into a little bit of detail as to how the pay scales are made in solar. But I'll just get into a little bit. But how do door-to-door sales work? So it would depend on the company, but the structure is like every single other sales job out there. So just to keep that in mind. So at the beginning, if you get into a company and you don't know anything about sales, you're gonna go into a setter position, which is you start off as a setter, you set appointments for the closer to close the deals, and you earn a small commission percentage. So I say that the good thing about this is that you're gonna learn how to set appointments. You're gonna learn how the sales process works, everything step by step, which is great. But the only thing is that in door-to-door sales, solar, you don't get paid until the deal is made. So even if you set the appointments, you're not gonna be paid for that. Like you're gonna be dependent on the closer. So if you're gonna be dependent on the closer, you might as well pick the best closer in the company. Because if you don't, you're gonna struggle, and it is gonna be a pain trying to just keep that in mind. You depend on the closer to close. So yeah, that is the only bad thing about that. And the bad thing also is that you're gonna earn maybe like 30% of the deal. or 40%. That's why it kind of sucks at the beginning, but that's how it worked at the company that I worked at. But there's other companies that have it different, where they don't hire setters; they hire self gens. And self gens, this is where you can actually set your own appointments, and you can start closing your appointments. So you can start making those 100% commission checks. So this is another learning curve. Like, if you don't know anything about sales, you've never closed a deal, you don't know anything, and you just become a self gen, it's gonna take you a while. It is going to take you a while to like get your first sales, and it is not gonna be easy, because the step in the right direction would be to learn how to set appointments first, so that you know the process, and then you learn how to close your own deals. And that way you have setting and closing, two specific skill sets that you can use. In my case, I was really good at setting appointments, but my closers were not very good at closing. Uh, it was what it is, but I would have much rather just gotten maybe like coaching. I would have rather just gotten coaching from somebody who was like closing every single time. But you kind of have to be like a how do you call it, like a mosquito right next to him, trying to like see how they do shit. And even then, some of them might not even tell you. So you have to shut the fuck up sometimes and just listen to what people gotta say, because at the beginning you don't deserve anything at the beginning. So yeah. So this will be another learning curve where you're gonna have to learn how to close yourself, and nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you on those closings. You're on your own, but you can get help from your peers to the outside. And like I said, this is good because it builds a lot of character, but it also earns you the right to close those 100 commission checks, which is where you can actually make the big bucks. The next phase would be a closer. Like I said, there's different companies, different company structures. There's companies that tell you that you're gonna be a setter first, and then you're gonna be a closer, or you can be we only hire self gens and we don't really hire setters. So as a closer, you're gonna teach other people how to set appointments. You're gonna teach setters how to get their appointments, and you're gonna close the deals. And you're gonna get like the majority of percentage, maybe like 70%, 60%. But yeah, you're gonna here in this position, you're gonna have to start learning how to hire people, and you're gonna have to learn how to manage people. And that is another skill set that you need to develop. So you're gonna have to figure out how to find the right talent, so you don't waste time with like the wrong people. Here you're gonna make a little bit lower amount of commission than how do you call it, than 100% of the commission. But most of the time, as a self gen, you're not gonna make that many closed deals, because it's just you. But if you're a closer, you can just get up a team of setters and just get them to get appointments for you, and then you close those deals, and then you can eventually make more than the self gens, which is why like that is right there. From there, here, that is pretty much how everything is set up. Of course, there are companies that do different things differently, and they only have self gens, and there's also companies that have self gens, like I said. When it comes to like company structure, how do you find the right company to work with? That is another thing. And one thing to keep in mind is that in solar, you are your own boss, meaning that if you want, you can close your own deals and you can just sell for an installer. You don't really have to work for how do you call it, a company. Because in companies there's hierarchies, so even if you sell, maybe like the bank gets like maybe 27% or 30% plus 30% of other people, like the people higher up than you. So maybe you don't earn like the full commission, and sometimes it depends. But you gotta take a look. You gotta take a look at the company structure, and you want to avoid a company if they have shady sales tactics, where the homeowner they don't give the homeowner the right amount of offset. I've seen so many people that have incomplete systems. and they're pissed because they don't know how solar works, because the rep didn't know, and because even the homeowner, maybe like they're lazy and they just don't want to figure it out. But I've seen so many cases like this, which is why it is important that if you do want to work for a company, make sure that they're reputable and they're huge, they're big, but that they also have good business practices, like completing people's systems, or even putting a little bit more offset, which is the percentage of solar panels needed to cover their electricity consumption. So you just got to make sure that the offset is a little bit bigger, so that you don't have those people that are paying two electric bills, which is the solar and the electric. But if you give them a little bit of solar, a little bit more than 100%, you can get them to like their bill to like $10, which is a pretty cool situation to be in. Second thing to avoid is that they have sales training from like 4 to 5 years ago that is not even up to date. I've seen times where like the solar companies have like these people who like want to teach you how to sell, like this, I guess, the BPs and everything, but they teach you like they motivate you and everything, but they don't give you the tool. They give you the tools, but they don't really give you the tactics of how to do stuff out there. And that's why it's important to have like a manager or somebody out there that is knocking with you, so that you know what to do. Because if you have somebody out there who's hasn't even closed in like a while ago, or they're just telling you to knock, and they're teaching you how to knock from like 4 to 5 years ago, you're gonna have a rough time. Just change companies. But yeah, just be careful with that. Third thing is that they tell you that you can only solve for them and them only. If not, then there's repercussions. It's like the majority of the companies out there, they have these regulations that say that you're a specified dealer for them, and that you cannot sell for another dealer, basically. The thing about solar is that you're all your own solar boss. You don't really need to be a dealer. But what you do need to do is you need to know how to do your job. As long as you know how to do your job, you can work for any installer you want. Apparently, that's what I heard from people who are marketers. You know what? I wouldn't recommend you to do a little bit more research onto that, because it seems like depending on the company you're working with, they might brainwash you to think something, but then it's like different. But what other way do you know how other solar companies are working than by asking like marketing agencies that they work with like a lot of clients? So you can ask them too. The fourth thing is that they screw over their reps and they don't pay them their commissions. With this one, I've seen cases where like all of a sudden some people close like $10,000, and like maybe 40% of the money disappears. Or just that, yeah, mainly that all of a sudden the money disappears and they don't know why. Or that, but you're supposed to know like how much money you're supposed to be paid. But I guess sometimes that does happen. So if the company owners screw over the reps, what's going to happen is that the reps are going to screw over the homeowners to get money. Because unfortunately, I've seen a lot of things bad in this industry, and that is that people are hungry. Like, people are super hungry to make those huge commission checks that they don't care that much as to what happens with the other person. Which I don't think those people are going to last very long. That is not how even business is made. You're not going to last if you do shitty things like that. So if you want to screw people over, honestly, fuck you. Fuck you. You don't deserve to be in well, maybe you screw people over, you're going to make money, but you're going to burn your freaking reputation. And that is not good. So the next thing would be that they have bad installers who hurt their homeowner and your reputation as a sales professional. I've seen cases where like I had a friend who closed huge solar deals, but the installer messed up on almost every single one of them, and the deals couldn't pull through. So what happened was that the homeowner never got what they wanted, and the sales rep wasted all the time trying to get those close deals, which is really unfortunate and really sad. Uh, which is why you gotta work with an installer and make sure that the installer has certain reach in different parts, so that, let's say your installer is based in like your city, like Oklahoma City, but you get a job at a different place. I wouldn't recommend selling them because, well, your installer is not there. So how are you gonna install the solar panels? How are you gonna get paid? It's not good. So you gotta make sure that your installer has reach on like the places that you want to sell. Because if you don't, then how are you gonna sell solar? How are you gonna install? How are you gonna install solar? So it could be like a waste of time. So next thing is that their reputation precedes them, where everywhere you hear their name, people want to run away. It's happened a lot. When I used to knock doors, I've seen a lot of some of these companies that it was the same issue. It was like, it was this specific company did this to us. They didn't tell us how it works. We're paying two bills, and it was the same company every single time. It was either three companies that were doing the same thing. Insane, but it was the same thing, which is why you gotta be careful with the reputation of the company. So, next thing is that, when does your job stop as a sales representative? Uh, your job does not end until the glass is on the roof. Because that is when you get paid. So it is your responsibility to get the project to be completed and make sure that there are no stipulations. So there sometimes happens when you sell a deal, and there's going to be stipulations that get in front of you, and they don't let you complete the project. When these things happen, you got to make sure to follow through and make sure to help the homeowner with the stipulations. Sometimes they're like pretty dumb stipulations, which is why you got to be with the homeowner and be able to have a trusting relationship with the homeowner and tell them like, hey, Mr. Homeowner, they're asking me for these details from you. If not, we can't really proceed with the projects. I need this and this from you. Is that okay? They're gonna be like, oh yeah, sure. Sometimes if you have like a pretty good relationship with the homeowner, they're gonna be like, oh sure, yeah, sure, let's go for it. Which is why it's important to have a pretty good trusting relationship with the people that you sell to. And it is your job as a sales professional, to take the homeowner on a journey and to get them out of the absurd inflation rates affecting their electric bill. And you have to inform the homeowner as to the procedures that are going to happen when they make their purchase. So you got to tell them what is happening, what is going to happen after they actually sign the documents for the loans or the lease. You have to tell them and exactly what they're going to be expecting. And if certain things change, let them know. Like, taking care of the homeowners means that you take care of your reputation as a sales professional. And if you take care of them, they're going to recommend you. And you're going to get more business. Which is why it's important to like take care of people and have good relationships. And relationships over money every single time. Don't care about the money, just help people. As long as you help people, you will make money. Doesn't matter what it is. I've happened before where I was close to selling a couple big systems that just didn't pass credit. But yeah, like as long as you keep the trust and relationship good, you can help a lot of people and you can make a lot of money while doing it. So just take care of your homeowners and take them through the process. Teach them how solar works, and you can make a lot of money. The solar paywall. We're gonna talk about a little bit. This is gonna be fun. One thing to keep in mind is that in solar, you choose what you want to earn. So you can sell the system depending on the price per watt. And I'm gonna give you an example right here. If you sell a 5 kilowatt system, which is 5,000 watts, at 5.5 price per watt, you're going to multiply 5,000 watts times 5.5, which is equal to 27,500. This is generally how the loan amount. But in solar, the funny thing is that you can choose what the price per watt is. So you can sell it at a lower price or a higher price. Most of the time, when it comes to like solar companies, they're red lines. Red lines are basically the if you get below a red line, let's say it's $4, if the red line of the company is $4 and you sell the system at 3.2, you're not going to make commission. You're going to lose commission. But if you sell about 4, maybe 5.5, you make maybe $100 per percent. So it depends. But depends on the company, how they do their structuring or payments. But that's what I mean when you choose how much you want to earn. So in this case, let's say you sell it at 5.5, $27,000. And let's say that the homeowner is paying an average of like $100 per month, and the loan is $27,000. And the $27,000 meets the homeowner's energy requirements. Now, that does sound like a lot of money. That sounds like a lot of money, right? But if you break it down like this, the loan divided by 25 years is equal to $1,100 a year. Then you divide it by 12 months, and that is going to be $91.67 per month. Imagine freezing your payments, your electricity payments at 91.67 when you're paying 100, with an interest rate of maybe 4% or 5%, when the utility rates are rising like 8% to 12%. That is why people change solar, because you freeze those amounts, and instead of paying $100 now and maybe like $106 next year, $112 next year, $118, you still have the same. And the good thing about this is that some solar companies have it where the loan amounts is included with interest, which is not going to be as high as the utility bills. And eventually, after the term ends, and if your system is done correctly at the measurements of how much electricity you're consuming, you're going to have free electricity. That is why solar is That is why solar is as big as it is. But some people don't understand that. There's a lot of people that don't understand how solar works, and that is really dangerous. But the product sells itself. Like, as long as you know how to explain it, that it is simple, it is easy, people will buy. And you don't have to go over complicated things. Just tell them that we're going to freeze your payment at this. Your current rate is this. The inflation rate we're talking about is 8% plus maybe 14%, because here in Texas the utility rates have been increasing like crazy. And your bill is never going to go up from this if you're selling a loan. If you're selling a loan, your utility bill is never going to increase from this. Your bill is going to stay like this. It's not going to increase. I'm going to refreeze it at an interest rate like this. And with this, you protect the homeowners against inflation rates. But like I said, you can sell it however you want. Like, most of the time, the industry standard would be to earn like $1,000 per kilowatt. So like I said, with so if you sell a system at 5 kilowatts and it meets the homeowner's electricity requirements, you just made $5,000. Or if you sell a system at 10 kilowatts and it meets the homeowner's energy needs, then you can make between $9,000 to $11,000 in commissions. Just like that. And this is assuming that you know how to calculate everything they need for the homeowner, because not every system is the same. When you get a lead, you don't know what system size they have. So you can have to take into consideration, like, if they need roof, an alarm, if they want an alarm system, they want HVACs, water softeners, anything like that. You're going to have to play with the numbers and see what kind of adders are included into the loan, so that the loan covers these expenses, and that basically they get like more of the tax credit just because of the adders. The thing about solar is that if you have the solar loan, you can increase the loan, and you can, if the let's say that the system size of the solar system is 27,000. Like, let's say it's 27,000, and the roof is 10,500. What's going to happen is that you increase the price per watt, which is this, to cover these two. So if the solar loan plus the roofing is, what is it, 38,000, you're gonna have to increase the price per watt, maybe to $7. And with that, the solar loan covers the roof, and the homeowner gets a bigger tax credit. That's why solar is pretty good right now. That 30% tax credit is like crazy. But you also got to make sure like who qualifies for that tax credit. But yeah, so what about remote sales? In remote sales, there are no setters, there's marketing. So this is the part of the journey that I'm trying to figure out, because I'm learning how to market at the moment for solar companies. So at the moment, I'm currently having a client, solar company, which I'm trying to market for, and another rep. But I'll break it down. I'm gonna break it down for like simplicity as to how remote sales works. So step 1 is lead gen. Step 2 is qualifying. Step 3 is lead nurturing. Step 4 is appointment setting. Step 5 is show, and then sale is the final step. Now, this is the whole structure of how to find leads and convert them into sales. Like, the thing about this is that you're gonna need like, if you've only sold in the solar industry and you don't know how to market, you're gonna have to either learn the skill or outsource the work, that's when like the marketing agencies come into place, or you just make a team of like, just hire marketers to like work on your company. But yeah, so essentially, or or you can leverage the fact that, like I said, you make money before selling solar. You hire an agency to do marketing, and basically what the agency is going to do is like, they're going to generate your leads, your appointments, your shows, and it is your job to close. So the steps are lead gen, choosing the right when it comes to lead gen, you got to choose the right platform to market on. Like, depending on what type of advertising you want to do, you can either do it through Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Facebook, people are going to be like older, like 25 and older. TikTok, people are younger, but the videos there like work really well, apparently. YouTube too. You can essentially make YouTube ads and just make them convert like for solar leads or appointments. But then again, this all requires the skill of knowing how to market through like inbound or outbound methods of outreach. Outbound, if you know the difference between outbound and inbound, outbound is everything like you reach out to people, but they don't know you. Like, for example, paid advertising, cold calling, door knocking. This is all outbound. Inbound would be that you've been building your audience on like YouTube. You make YouTube videos and people know who you are, so they click on your profile and they start watching your stuff, and then you start making money off of the people because they buy because they know you. They're warmer. But yeah, in order to generate leads, you can actually do either one of these two outreach methods. And as Alex Hormozi calls it, like, leads are just people we can contact. And also you have to know the different rules of advertising, so you got to follow like some strict guidelines that some platforms like TikTok or Facebook are doing. But yeah, the second thing is qualifying. At this stage, you need a way to qualify the leads to see if they're a good fit. Leads are not that good by themselves. If you don't have a way to qualify the leads, like with a funnel, you're not gonna know who's who, and you're gonna have a hard time understanding like how leads work. Which is just, you gotta qualify them. that is what you do when you door knock. You gotta qualify people before you even sit down with them on a call, on like a sales call. I mean, a sit down. So you build the funnels. These basically, the funnel is just a one-dimensional step that gets a lead to take action in a certain direction. So put your name here. What does your roof look like? What is your credit score? What is the range of your electric bill? How much are you paying per month? And they just like maybe move a slide or anything like that. But this makes it easier for us to know if what kind of homeowner they are. Like if they own the home, what type of roof, all these things these are qualifying things that make it easier for us to know if they could be a good buyer, if they're a good client. Like I said, this is where we ask qualifying questions to see if they're a good fit. What type of roof, credit score, electricity bill, average, you name it. A good funnel will separate the qualified leads from the unqualified ones. Like here's where we will know exactly who's like could be like a good qualified lead. The next step is lead nurturing. Here you're going to need a system in place to follow up with leads to like many methods. Like over the phone, you can call people, double dial, email, SMS, sending them messages, voice messages, and you get leads to respond to incentivize them to book a call or to hop on a call on the calendar. And if they don't respond, then you just keep following up until leads book an appointment. So this is the part when it comes to like you need systems in place and processes you need systems to understand how to convert a lead into an appointment. Because if you don't have that, you're not going to make a sale. Which is why it's important that you know how to do those things, or figure out a way to like outsource it, or either do it in yourself, or just build your own team that does it inside in the company. Then we got appointment setting. Here we use with the use of call centers. Like you can set up the in-house, or you can like, if you know how to build call centers, just build it on your own company. But if you don't know how to do that, you can get a third party to book the appointments for you, as long as they know what they're doing. The call centers will set appointments on your calendar and give you a notification to know when you have something scheduled. So this could be like through Zoom, Google Meets, over the phone, like anything like that. But I've seen like there's pretty good salespeople that sell over the phone, which is amazing. I don't know how you sell over the phone. That is crazy to me. But yeah. And then shows, like step number 5 is shows. Like after you've chosen how to schedule your appointments, the prospects will either ghost you or show up to the appointments. So which could be over the phone, Zoom, or Google Meets. Like shows will depend on like I guess they get on the phone or Google Meets or Zoom, and you just gotta follow through and take them through the sales process. And the 6th step is the sales process. You take the leads to the prospect to the sales process. You explain the benefits of solar, how it works. Just do your job, what you're supposed to be doing, close. And if you want to do like I said, you can either do it like, you can get a marketing agency to help you do that for you, like outsource it, or you could just build it yourself. But like having marketing in-house will make you far more money than if you just outsource it, depending on your situation, which is why like you have to understand where you're at. And that is why skills and team building are important towards being in the remote model. So yeah, but yeah, it's pretty long video actually. Then at the end, what are some key insights to keep in mind? Depending on where you're at, like I said, if you're like a sales rep trying to get your next deal, or like you're the owner of your own company and you want to outsource the work, it all depends on where you're at. Sorry, my English. I just get tired of talking. It depends on what you have available at the moment. Like if you want leads, you're gonna need money. Like there's no other way around it. Like especially online leads. Like not only that, but if you get leads, you're gonna need systems and processes in place to convert them into sales, because we're not just talking about leads, we're talking about homeowners. And in order to get them the best results possible, you need to have all these things in place. Like you need to get your ducks in a row, basically. If you don't, you're not going to close those deals, and you're not gonna make those huge commission checks. You also got to make sure not to screw people over. You don't, like I said, you don't know how many times I've seen people incomplete systems just by knocking on their door. They tell me their situation. I'm like, God damn, like these freaking. There's some salespeople that just don't have any heart, and sometimes the homeowner doesn't even know how the solar panels work, which is sad, but it's true. But like I said, like if you don't have any money, like maybe going to door knocking. It's still a great way to actually generate your own leads. It is tiring because you're going to drive a lot and the sun is going to be there. But if you're just starting out, like it could be like a good starting point. You could build tough skin and you learn the game. And yeah, eventually once you start making money, you can start getting into the remote game and get people that can get you, like maybe work at an agency that can get you leads. Or you can learn the skill yourself. It's going to take time, but you can learn how to do that. But yeah, anyway, that was about it. It was a pretty long video. And here I just talked, literally all I did was just talk about the in-person or remote sales models. Honestly, it seems like a better opportunity to do remote sales. But I guess if you can do both, if you're like a huge monopoly, then I guess most huge solar companies already have their marketing in place. But if you're barely starting, I mean, the remote model, seems like a smarter way to go. Like if you want to scale, because who doesn't want to sell over the phone instead of knocking doors? I would. But yeah, that was about it. Yeah, see you later. Peace.